I see Ronnie O'Sullivan has pulled out of the Masters, folks. I heard it a day or so ago now, and I thought, what a shame this is. I mean, he's citing, again, his health, I think mental health problems. We know Ronnie's got issues. He's had them for many a year, but over the last couple of years, even more so. He pulled out of about, I think, 8 tournaments last year, the last season, and I think he's on 6 already this year, I think, that he's pulled out of. But I've said in the past, for all he's pulled out of things, he's often said he's pulled out of things just to help him to focus on the bigger tournaments and just to have some more time for himself, and because he thinks the schedule is just too demanding and he don't want to be here, there and everywhere and constantly on planes. And I've always said, well, it's all well and good saying that, but I'll tell you what, you'll never pull out of the big 3. You're always there for them 3, and you're chasing back and to China and the Far East doing tournaments and stuff, or doing exhibitions where you're in good corn. And I called him to an extent last year, and as I say, up until now, he's never pulled out of a biggie. But the Masters is one of the main 3, the only Trinity, I think it is, the only, oh, and it said Grail. I think it is, it's one of the big 3. I never thought we'd see the day where Ronnie would pull out. It says a lot about how he must be at the moment. Now, I did hear earlier on this week, I think he have 5 games scheduled with 5 different players in is it the Premier League, did they call it? I think he lost 4 on the bounce. And I believe at the end of the 4th, he was in a really, really bad way. He got really annoyed, and reports suggest that he smashed his cue on one of the match tables or something similar. And you think, well, if Ronnie's smashing his cue, if that's the cue he's played with for a good few years now, that in itself is really, really bad, because these snooker players, they get used to whatever they play with. They don't like playing with just anything, for all they've got all the talent in the world, and Ronnie more than anybody. They get used to the cue that they used to. That in itself will put him back. But I thought the fact that he's pulling out the Masters must be really, really bad. Even if his playing's been off, which it has been a bit this year, he's not been to the levels he'd normally be, he'd still normally want to be in that, because he's one of the biggies, but because he's holding records everywhere. He's trying to break records with these 3 big tournaments, and he's trying to set records that no one else will ever catch. And I just can't believe he's pulled out. So at this time, I've gone the other way. I mean, I'm a bit worried for old Ronnie, I really am, because for all he's something of a prima donna, and for all I've always stated that I think he thinks snooker's all about him, and it isn't, or it isn't in my mind. I do admit, he's the greatest player we've ever seen. He's a talent that we'll probably never see his like again. He's an absolute phenomenon, he really is. And at least phenomenal then. I'm glad I never said that. I just did it then, but I didn't do it in the speech, because everyone uses that word and it does my pig in head in. But he's something really, really, really special. And you've got to worry when he's pulling out of something this prestigious. You really have. I do hope he's okay. I do hope he pulls himself together sooner rather than later. And I do hope we see a rejuvenated Ronnie back. If not in the next month or 2, at least for the Worlds, I really do. Because snooker's better with him, innit? For all he's all about Ronnie and a bit of a big I am from time to time, you can't deny the talent, and you can't deny when he's at the table, there's nobody greater to watch, and nobody puts you on the edge of your seat like Ronnie. Part of it's because you don't know what he's going to do next, in a good or a bad way, but part of it is because you don't know what he's going to do next actually on that snooker table, because his talent is just prodigious. So I hope we get him back soon. I hope he gets sorted, even if he needs some professional help. And I'm thinking of him this weekend. I mean, I don't want Ronnie O'Sullivan to be bad, to be any worse than he is now. I don't want him to be ill, because for all I've called him the odd time in the past, I appreciate his brilliance. It's just there for all to see. But when Ronnie O'Sullivan pulls out the Masters, when he pulls out of the Masters, you know it's something serious. You really, really do. So, best thoughts to the Rocket, and it's for his speedy and healthy return. Let's hope it's sooner rather than later.